Hey YouTube, it's Joe the 50 something Dasher with another recap video. This is for Monday, January 29th, 2024. How's this for an early start time to my dash this morning? 3:43 in the morning. Didn't get a whole lot of sleep, probably around 6 hours or a little bit less, and just couldn't go back to sleep and started an early dash. So, to cover the first few orders here, I'm going to turn it over to my scraggly haired self from earlier this morning. So, this was shot early this morning from the trenches on the battlefield. And so, here I'll talk about the first few orders. All right, breaking the action here at 4:45 in the morning. I was kind of bored here, just waiting on my next order, so I thought I'd shoot cell phone chop video of an update to this point for my recap video. And so first offer of the morning was an $11 IHOP. Didn't meet the criteria that I talked about in yesterday's video, but I made an exception just because it's that early in the morning and traffic is not a factor. So, and plus, it would get me into the double digits on pay right away with the first order. So that's why I took that. So it took me a couple minutes to get out of the apartment. I was kind of like in the middle of something, but I finally got out of the apartment, got on my way. And before I think it was like just as I was arriving, just about, DoorDash stacked a second. No, I'm sorry. I still about a mile and a half away. I remember now. And DoorDash stacked a second order for an additional $7, and it was an additional, probably, I want to say 3 to 4 miles, something like that. So I went ahead and added that on, knowing that IHOP is typically like really slow. So if that order was just coming across, it was probably going to be like 20 minutes before they got that second one done. So I had a good feeling about picking up the first one, but I didn't know about that. Was I really going to get that second order? So I got into IHOP. They had changed their pickup location for the driver. So it used to be this small table right next to the cash register. But right after I walked in, if you look straight ahead at they converted one of the tables that the customers sit at. I don't know if it was temporary or permanent, but the DoorDash pickup sign was on that table and with an order sitting there, and it was my first order. So I went ahead and grabbed that, took it out to the car, put it in my hot bag and everything, went back in my app. On the second order, I selected tell us what's happening. I selected order still being prepared. And then I only waited, it was like at the right around the 7.5 minute mark. DoorDash, I was doing something else on my phone. They might even prompted me even sooner than that. But when I went back to the app at my 7.5 minute mark, there was a prompt from DoorDash that I could drop the second order penalty free. And I went ahead and dropped it because the other order had already been sitting in my car about over 6 minutes. And so I knew that this was probably going to be an additional like 5 to 10 minutes. I didn't want the first customer to wait too much longer, and the plus the second order was going to be taking me closer to downtown, so I just went ahead and dropped that second one. Delivered to the first customer is kind of like is pretty like scary neighborhood, actually, with real tight driving down the street, cars parked on both sides of the road, really tight driving, a lot of trash and like trash cans, bikes, cats running around, stray cats. I mean, it was kind of a scary scene, but I made that delivery. And then coming back, I decided to stop and get gas on my way back. And I kind of noticed as I was coming back into zone that I kind of knew there was a little bit of a problem when on my map, you know, that you're on in between orders, that my location, like the map wasn't updating when I was moving along. Like, you know how that adjusts and everything. Well, the blue dot for my pin location was like leaving the screen and the map wasn't like adjusting, if that makes sense. So I kind of knew something was up. I seen a text message that I was getting a McDonald's offer, and I waited and waited and the offer didn't come up on my screen. So there was some kind of app issue or a signal issue with me or something. I pulled into the gas station. There's a couple different things you can do in those situations. Sometimes I'll go to click on my home screen, get out of the dash, go to the home screen, and then come back into the dash. Here's my next offer. Okay, and that you see that I got interrupted by an offer, which I'll get to here in a second. But that story I started to tell about signal issues and what I do in those situations, I figured rather than finish that story in this video, I'll make that a whole separate video. So watch out for that the next few days. I still have another video that I've got all put together and everything. That's going to come out first. And then the next video of just general helpful information is going to be on the topic of connectivity issues, and that'll come next. So the next several days, week or so, watch out for that video and I'll talk about that. So here's the offer at 4:52 in the morning that interrupted me. 325 sheets, that's a 5.6 miles. That's a decline all the way. Next we get to, I took this one. This one was $7.75 with a hidden tip. And so I'm sure that has to be like a completely different order because the mileage is different. So, and it was busy in there. There was it might have been this order here when I went in to pick that up. There was like 3 other drivers, and you know, real early in the morning, Sheetz was booming. Um, and then so I took that order. So here was the pay screen on that, and was pleasantly surprised that DoorDash held almost $10 from that offer screen, and the customer tipped $15 on this order. So yeah, that was a very welcome surprise. So I'm off to a great start here at not even 5:15 in the morning. And then I get another Sheetz order, 696, 3.6 miles. So I'm taking this one as well. And don't have any other notes, or you know, the pickup and delivery went fine on this one. Nothing else more to mention about that. Next up at just after 6 was a Speedway, $7, 2.7 miles. I took even though this wasn't a shopping order, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I took a picture of the items anyway. But of course, like I said, Speedway, I don't shop the orders. But you see, you know, mostly all snacks and a couple bottles of Pepsi. So it was ready when I got there, and so pretty easy. And this video might go pretty quick. There's no like, stories per se, unless I'm forgetting something. But um, $4, 4.4 miles decline. So my acceptance rate went all the way down to, I think after this dash ended today, I think it's at like 54%, something like that. So yeah, no top dasher for next month. uh, this, what did I do on this one? So I took this, even though it doesn't meet that criteria I talked about for the last couple days, but still, this is early in the morning. The main problem here is this customer here. Otherwise, it would have been a great order, but uh, this customer actually had a Grove City address, but it was like, actually, so technically a Grove City address, but it was just outside of my like actual zone. So I mean, it's not like I was going to downtown or anything. So this wasn't too bad, and you see only 10 items. And so here, the next two screenshots are the list. Or whoops, no, that's the very first order of the morning. Okay, so here's the list for the Meyer. There's part of it. Notice here, this is all customer B, and now these two shots isn't every item, but you see all this here. Customer A, that's all they got was the lighters. And I didn't pay attention to that at first. When I looked at the whole list, what I did notice was this was going to be the trickiest item of all the 10 items, or is that, yeah, it was 10 items, I think, total. And the lighters was going to be the trickiest. I'm not a smoker. I don't start fires. I don't even light candles. My wife does that. So I don't play with lighters, and I don't really know how to find them in a store, other than I know sometimes you can find some of them at the checkout lanes. That's all I know. They didn't have Scripto lighters up front. They had Bic. And so I asked one lady, but she was just stocking magazines. She didn't work at the store. And asked another lady, and she was real helpful. She said, okay, you want to check over by the candles? If it's not there, it'd be in sporting goods. And actually, this aisle, I don't know why it says kitchen next. Now, if that would have said aisle 28 sporting goods, because that's where it was at. And then I probably wouldn't have even had to ask anybody anything. But I knew that that wasn't going to be in the kitchen area with pots and pans. And so some of these aisle numbers, categories, they could clean this up a little bit better, but I don't know. But anyway, long story short, I don't see it in the candles area. I go over to sporting goods and I find an aisle 28, and sure enough, that's where it was at. So I knocked out that hardest item first, and then it was all grocery stuff for the other customer. Um, so I delivered to customer A first, and that was going to the hospital. And it was kind of weird. It was leave at the door, but in the instructions, the guy said to text when I got there and he'd meet me. So I got there, I sent a message. I didn't wait long, as maybe not even 2 minutes, and he came to my car, and so that went well. Um, and then, as I already mentioned in my notes, customer B was out of zone. So next is the pay screen for that. You see the lighter customer didn't leave a tip at all. Yeah, that's okay. $12 from DoorDash, $4 the other customer tipped. Um, So I'm up to $58 here, and the sun's not even out yet. So off to, like I said, off to a pretty good start. Next was a decline, um, going clear down to Darbydale. So this is more than likely the trailer park, more than likely, and so I didn't want to. Uh, that would have had to pay like $12, $13 before I even would have considered it, going clear down there, especially at this time. And then I had another, so that was 7:34, and then waited about 7 minutes, and I declined this. This was just this was just going too many places, and I was right next to the sheets, but then I was going to have to go north to West Columbus zone to get the Starbucks, and then I was going to have to come back down south again, go to Darbydale, probably the trailer park, I would imagine, and for that's way too much trouble right there for only $14. So decline. Had a bunch of declines today. Then I get now this right here. This should be right as we're getting to like 7:45. This should be my well, I'd say 7 to 8:30 for me. Typically, that whole time my phone should just be going off, and or like offer after after offer. But after this offer right here, I had like a pretty long break. I didn't get my next offer until 20 minutes later, and this one I took 11:25, only 5 miles, just two items. So absolutely, I went ahead and took that. uh, where was I at here? I might have been downtown Grove City when that came across. So here's the items. Two days in a row, I've gotten Dramamine for somebody. That's pretty kind of crazy. And Motrin. You see, it only took me not even a minute and a half to find those items. And then so I took a picture of the pay screen on that. That was 4.25 from DoorDash, $7 tip. So 11.25. So yeah, worked out great. So that took me all total. I got the offer at 8:02, and I was done in 20 minutes flat. Um, so there you go. That would be, if I did that two more times, and that'd be 30, what is that, almost $32 an hour I would have been making. Next was this was kind of weird. In fact, I didn't I didn't have this order in my notes. This is two consecutive 11:25 CVS orders. How crazy is that? And that's why, like, when I was had a break in the action and was updating my notes, I didn't get this second one into my notes, because I thought when I saw this screenshot, I was like, oh, I already got the 11:25 CVS in my notes. No, that was the first one. You had two 11:25s. It's pretty crazy. So I get a second one, and this one's less than 5 miles. So I took this, of course. More items on this one. So there's the first screenshot. This wasn't too bad. None of this candy, the Airhead scanned, but none of this Valentine's candy scanned, and the sizes weren't matching up exactly. Like, I don't remember the sizes offhand, but just say like this one right here. This says like 9.6 ounce, and the bag that I got might have been like 8.4 ounces or 10.5, or they weren't like matching up exactly on the ounces, and they weren't scanning, but the app had me take a picture of each bag of candy, and I was able to you know get all the items that way and check out. This took me about 5 minutes to shop this, and then I deliver that. Now, was this 20 minutes? So 8:43 to, so this was a little bit longer. So this was like 23 minutes on this one. And 5.25, $6 customer tip. So yeah, so yeah, rocking and rolling here with two pretty good CVS orders back to back that 20 minutes each, and over 11.25 for each 20-minute block, you might as well say. And I said, I'll take it, obviously. Next, no explanation needed on this one. $3. I don't know. I might I might just stop taking anything under like $4. Just like all together. We'll see. My selective taking of orders, my this brand new this week, how I'm doing things. I've never had, since I started dashing, never been in the 50% range on acceptance rate. So this is all brand new, and I'm going to have to go the next few weeks and see if if I'm still getting the offers, if I'm still making around the same amount of money, same hourly rates and everything, and I may just all out give up on, like I said, orders under $4 from here on out. Well, like I said, it's gonna have to depend on how things go the next couple weeks, but this was a decline. Then 4 minutes later, I get this, and this was a decline as well. It's not too awfully terrible here, but I don't know, just picking up and then dropping off at two different customers. The customer up north, that's out of zone, and I think I'll pass. And then I made a good decision, because only a minute later I get again another stacked Panera, and I don't know why sometimes they list it as this is the same place. It's not two different pickups. I don't know why it's the name of the restaurant is titled differently. But anyway, this is less mileage. It's like a mile and a half less, and it's the pay is going to be like almost double the previous order. So, but so by declining that one, I get a much better order, $23 hidden tips. I took this. And then we'll go ahead and show the pay screen here on that. So only $2.25 from DoorDash, $6.52 tip, and then my second $15 tip of the day. So that was awesome. Really appreciate it. So in my notes here, the second customer, that was one of those contactless deliveries where when you get there, you're supposed to call the customer. What happened there is, and these type of deliveries like always make me nervous, but I get there and the customer is, right as I pull in, the customer is like opening the front door. So I'm like, well, they know I'm there. They're opening the door. There's no point in calling, and this now just becomes a hand to customer. So I figured, okay, I'll hand the customer, and in a situation like this, I'll send my second message that I send on hand to customer orders: order delivered, thank you for placing your DoorDash order today. So I give the customer the order, start walking back to the car, and I notice that, maybe I should have seen this, before I got out of the car, but this customer had it set up to where you could not send them a text message in app. So I basically, this is kind of like, one of those rare deliveries where, like, I rolled the dice and gambled here. I handed this customer the order, and there's absolutely no proof whatsoever. There was no picture. I couldn't send my message. There was, all I did was in the app select that I handed the order directly to the customer, and it closed it out. So that it's just, it can be kind of nerve wracking, those type of situations. But fortunately, I don't run into it all that often. So that's kind of a rare thing. Maybe, I don't know, once every few weeks, once a month, I'll run into situations like that. But it didn't seem like there was no harm done today. And then I come home. So I had to, and this is normally a time that I would come home anyway, and had to go to the bathroom. And also, we had maintenance was scheduled to come in here today. And so I was already over goal. I was over my $100 for the day. So but I wasn't really quite done dashing yet. If I got another, like, really good order or whatever, I was up for one or two, good orders, but I kind of struck out with four straight declines. So here's the first one: $7, 3.8 miles. At this particular point, I'm not leaving the apartment. I maybe, if it wasn't for maintenance coming and see, we have the dog here, and people were going to be in and out of the apartment, and so I only wanted to leave if it was like a really good offer. So it's, even though miles to money, that this is almost like, $2 a mile. This is a good offer, but it's not worth me leaving the apartment for just $7. So decline that. This one was a decline. So that's going. No way would I take this. This is going clear down south to. This is going to New Orleans, Louisiana. So no, I ain't taking this one. Self-explanatory on that one. Again, another one that's not too this isn't too horribly bad, but $11 just didn't, for a shopping order, didn't really excite me enough to get out of the house. If that had been over $15, I might have went ahead and took off. Um, and then maintenance did come here while I was here, and there was actually at one point like four guys in the house, and then I decided, just to be on the safe side with our dog and everything, I just decided to log off. But before that, one last decline here of 475 3 point. I'm not leaving the house for that, obviously. And then like I said, I logged off, and I didn't have the summary screen pulled up. Oh well. So I'm not gonna. It's no big deal, but so it was 7 hours, 16 minutes of dash time. The active time was 3 hours, 50 minutes, something like that. Somewhere close to 4 hours was the active time. So I drove, and I made, it was, I think, $103, either 103, 104, dollars, something like that. 10 deliveries, 82 miles. So again, with this new being picky and choosy, I'm doing good on mileage. There probably, if I continue to do this, there probably won't be too many days that I actually go over on mileage. That might not happen anymore. Um, it's the spell checker on my phone. It's got 100% competition. That's supposed to be 100% completion. I my calculations, I needed 12 deliveries for that. The drop I had, I think it was a Bob Evans drop. I had in my spreadsheet that I needed 12 deliveries, but this usually happens to me. It usually drops off a couple, two or three or four orders before when it's supposed to, at least in my experience. So that fell off. I'm now at 100% completion. So um, glad to be back up to 100%. Now at 2,528 deliveries. One last thing here, no news yet on the contract violation. So, and I mean, sometimes if they do take it off, it'll happen the next day, but I've seen it where it takes a couple days later. Um, but even if that doesn't come off, I mean, today I've got 10 deliveries towards the 100. It won't take me too long to get 100 deliveries for that to fall off. So I'm not too worried about it. So anyway, I'm going to shut this video down. That's it for today's recap. Got to figure out what I'm going to title this video. Wasn't anything real too terribly exciting. Should I put a lighter in the thumbnail picture, I guess? I guess that is the most interesting story. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share the video, share my channel, tell the whole world. Check out my other videos, and we'll see you with the next video. Thanks again for watching.